Welcome Trinidad and Tobago to a News 4 report, a product of the Government Information Services Limited and the Ministry of Communications. I'm Joseph Lopez. Let's take a look at the headlines. The Prime Minister leads the delegation of CARICOM leaders at the 40th anniversary of the signing of Treaty of Chaguaramas. Ex-Caroni workers receive the residential lots and land that was promised to them. And the primary school children receive their SCA results. In our top story, Prime Minister the Honourable Kamala Persad-Bissessar is urging her CARICOM counterparts to rise to the challenges facing the region. She makes the call while addressing CARICOM leaders at the Chaguaramas Convention Centre.
The Caribbean community finds itself at a crossroads, but collectively we can make the decision to take the right path. This is the belief of Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar as she addresses her CARICOM colleagues. The Prime Minister was at the time speaking to her fellow leaders gathered to commemorate the 40th anniversary of the signing of the Treaty of Chaguaramas. Mrs. Persad-Bissessar says, despite what some may say, she still sees the CARICOM as a potent force whose strength lies in its collective ambition to see the hopes of our forefathers come to fruition.
After 40 years, we find ourselves at an important juncture in the evolution of our region. And we are at that point, at that juncture, when we must commit to either go forward together or to give up, succumb to some of the negativity and unconstructiveness of the naysayers who declare CARICOM to be irrelevant. I say we cannot and we must not let perish the vision and hopes of our great leaders who stood right here 40 years ago, firm in the belief that it was only through collective effort that the ambitions of the peoples of the Caribbean could be materialized. Today, through sound and movement, art and drama, we showcase our Caribbeanness, testimony to our creativity and innovation, and our unbridled ability to rise above any challenge which we may have to face.
Mrs. Persad-Bissessar says now is not the time for indecision or hesitation about CARICOM's purpose or goals.
Our challenge is not to be indecisive, not to hesitate, not to reverse, not to turn around. I say respectfully, our challenge is not to delay and loiter over hardship, adversity, or difficulty. Instead, our challenge is to persist and to rally on our course towards the realization of the destiny that our forefathers have set for us.
Prime Minister of Jamaica, the Honourable Portia Simpson Miller, has also issued a rallying call for the region to unite. She says it is now on the current generation to make the region into the success story our forefathers intended it to be.
Nothing can stop a united Caribbean people who hail from the crests of the Blue Mountains to the glassy waters of the Grand Anse. We are from the deep forests of Guyana and Suriname. We celebrate the beautiful bays of St. Vincent, the hot sulfur springs of St. Lucia and Dominica. And I want to say to you, our ancestors survived the brutality, the shackles, the chains of slavery to prepare a better future for us. We are now free. We now have the responsibility to ensure that we recapture that strength, that courage, that determination of our ancestors to make the Caribbean a better place for us and for future generations. Let us unite as one region to shape the future of CARICOM together.
Gregory McBurney, News 4.
Today, primary school children received their secondary entrance assessment SCA results at their schools from as early as 9 a.m. While News 4 visited neighboring school Mova Epiphany Anglican, where students shed tears of joy over their achievements. For thousands of students across Trinidad and Tobago today, it's a life-changing experience. They are going to close this chapter and open a new one. This as they receive their SCA results. A dream doesn't become a reality through magic. It takes sweat, determination, and hard work. This was evident today when News 4 visited the students who received their essay results at the Morva Epiphany Anglican School. Many students dream of passing for their school of first choice, but for many students of the Morva Epiphany School, their dreams have become a reality. So I'm here with Alyssa and Malik, SCA students who received their results today. Malik, how are you feeling?
Happy.
Happy?
Yes.
Tell us, what school did you pass for?
Queen's Royal College.
Queen's Royal College. Did you expect to pass for your first, this was your first choice?
Yes.
And how hard would you have worked towards this achievement today?
Well, I live in Aruka and I go home 7 o'clock in school, writing creative writing for my teacher. Long nights.
So you enjoy creative writing? Okay, well, congratulations. So what do you plan to do today? How are you going to celebrate, your success?
Well, I'm going to celebrate with my father and my mother this evening.
Oh, tears of joy, tears of joy. And SCA student Alyssa says it was not easy, but hard work and determination paid off. What school did you pass for?
Mistress Honesty.
Congratulations. And how was the preparation like for you?
It was hard.
It was hard.
We had a lot of books in our bag. Our backs used to hurt, but it was worth it.
There are no secrets to success. It is the result of preparation, hard work, and learning from failure. So says the principal of the school, Miss Joan Augustus Mawson. SCA results are out this morning and we are here at your school. Tell us, how do you feel and the students?
But if I tell you that right now I've just stopped crying, and it's not tears of sadness, it's tears of joy. I'm full. I am extremely proud of my children and my teachers. My three teachers this year show how teamwork can make the difference, because they have all worked hard and long together. Together, I stress that. And that made a difference this year.
Is the experience or the emotions different for you every year? Because I know you would have gone through this for a number of years.
Yes, the emotions are different every year, because I work with the children and the teachers, so I know what they're doing. And this is one of my classes that I came here, they were infants. So I kind of chart them through the school knowing what they're doing. So it makes a difference this year.
Teachers also echoed similar sentiments, saying that it was indeed a proud moment.
I think that the last 2 years of hard work paid off for the children. And, I'm just happy. I'm extremely happy for them.
A proud moment for me. I'm ecstatic. I'm very happy for them.
It was a collective effort. Both the teachers, parents, the children, the dedication towards this preparation for SCA 2013. We are now actually reaping the reward. And you can actually see all these smiling faces behind you, that, we are tremendously elated about this success here today.
And for these futuristic doctors and lawyers of the Morva Epiphany Anglican School, nothing is more beautiful than a real smile that has struggled through tears and hard work to produce this kind of success. It's a glimmer of hope and a good sign that the future is in good hands. Up next, Caroni workers receive promised land. Stay with us. Welcome back. The Ministry of Housing, Land and Marine Affairs is working to ensure that ex-Caroni workers receive the residential lots of land that was promised to them. Minister Munilal gave the assurance that a parcel of land in central Trinidad would be prepared in the next 3 months for this purpose.
Minister of Housing, Land and Marine Affairs, Dr. The Honorable Rudal Munilal, paid a visit to Felicity in central Trinidad to bring some relief to ex-Caroni workers of the area. On Thursday, Minister Munilal was joined by representatives of the Trinidad and Tobago Electricity Commission, the Water and Sewage Authority, the Land Settlement Agency, the Housing Development Corporation, the Estate Management Business Development Company, the Commission of State Lands and other government agencies. A large number of former Caroni workers from the area who were promised residential lots have been up in arms over the lack of attention they've been receiving on the issue.
Well, this morning we are here with Minister Devan Maharaj and several agencies of the Ministry of Housing and Land to look at some of the problems in this area, particularly the residents of Felicity who have former Caroni workers, ex-Caroni workers, who have been the recipients of land. The problem we understand here now is that the ex-Caroni workers were promised the residential lots. So this morning we are here to see a piece of land in this area called the Coconut, which was earmarked for housing initially, to see if we can use part of the land for housing to satisfy at least the demands of the ex-Caroni workers in Felicity, not from anywhere else. And because we have taken that approach, we're in a position now where we can actually provide for lands for residential purposes and lands for agriculture. So it is certainly not a zero-sum game that we need to take away from one for the next. There's ample land in this area. So Minister Maharaj and myself will work with the EMBDC and the Commission of State Lands to ensure that the residential lots here for the people of Felicity, they get their residential lots as they were promised. But at the same time, the people who are farming and are genuine farmers and are producers, we try to regularize them, to give them some security so that instead of squatting really, they will have some type of security to continue what they're doing. They are farmers and they produce.
A number of farmers who currently occupy the lands came out to voice their opinions and bring some light to a number of injustices taking place in the area. The Honourable Minister listened attentively and assured that a balance would be met to satisfy all involved. He then gave an overview of the project that is expected to take place on the lands.
In terms of agricultural land and so on, there are several problems there in terms of infrastructure. People, as a colleague here tells us, the people taking the land, they're leasing it out, they're selling it, they're renting it, whatever. Those are the agricultural issues. But residential, we have the HDC here, we have the EMBDC. It is to look at this parcel of land to produce about 700 lots for residential purposes for the ex-Caroni workers in Felicity. This will involve infrastructure work as well, so as soon as we are completed here, the EMBDC will look at the land to see how we can get about 700 housing lots and to look at the cost of infrastructure. I intend to go to the cabinet to get approval for the monies to develop infrastructure for housing so that the lands can be passed on to the ex-Caroni workers in Felicity who were promised this. This is what part of their visa package. But over the years, this has closed down and the people here did not receive their residential lot. In fact, about 75, we are told, 75 people from Felicity got residential lots and agricultural lots and things, but outside of the area, and it's terribly inconvenient for them.
The Honourable Minister said the paperwork for the project would take approximately 1 month, and following Cabinet's approval and funding, works on the infrastructure of the lands should begin in 2 to 3 months. Minister Munilal said with the addition of the lands portfolio to his ministry a few months prior, his staff has been working on the issue, and Tuesday's visit was testimony of that. Nikolai Edwards, News 4.
The Caribbean Public Health Agency will be based in Trinidad and Tobago and will play an integral part in the region's health sector improvement. Many officials flew to this country recently to be a part of the official launch, which is a milestone achievement for the Caribbean.
The Caribbean Public Health Agency, or CAFTA, is the new regional public health agency for the Caribbean. On Tuesday, the official launch of CAFTA took place at the National Academy for the Performing Arts, Port of Spain, where dignitaries from within CARICOM, as well as PAHO and the European Union, were present for the historic moment. The Public Health Agency was legally established in July 2011 by an intergovernment agreement signed by CARICOM member states and began operation in January 2013. The agency rationalizes public health agreements in the region by combining the functions of the 5 Caribbean regional health institutions into one single agency. These are the Caribbean Environmental Health Institute, the Caribbean Epidemiology Center, the Caribbean Food and Nutrition Institute, the Caribbean Health Research Council, and the Caribbean Regional Drug Testing Laboratory. Executive Director of CAFTA, Dr. C. James Hospitalis, expressed his confidence in the agency and relayed some projections which Caribbean citizens can look forward to.
I believe it's within the scope of this agency to really make a difference in the Caribbean, to improve health and well-being, reduce inequalities, and reduce the upward cost spiral in health services, improve prospects for Caribbean people. In so doing, I hope that the agency will become a recognized player on the global public health field, combining practices from north and south and from in between. From a technical point of view, we can realistically aim to prevent premature death from NCDs, from HIV/AIDS and injuries and violence by at least 25% by 2025, and include this as part of our post-2015 development targets for the Caribbean.
By bringing the 5 RHIs under one agency, the need for a strong regional response to many of the Caribbean's public health issues will be satisfied. These include emergency responses to disasters, surveillance, prevention, and management of non-communicable diseases that have reached epidemic proportions, surveillance and management of communicable diseases, including HIV and AIDS, re-emerging diseases such as tuberculosis in association with HIV and AIDS, and new communicable diseases that are now endemic in the region, surveillance and prevention of injuries, violence, and job-related illnesses, and contribution to global health agreements and compliance with international health regulations. Secretary General of CARICOM, Ambassador Erwin LaRocque, threw CARICOM's support behind the initiative while delivering his address.
You can rest assured that the CARICOM Secretariat will continue to assist in whatever way we can to ensure this child becomes a healthy adult. We all have a stake in this institution, keeping to the forefront the words of the Nassau Declaration: the health of the region is the wealth of the region.
Minister of Health, Dr. the Honorable Fuad Khan, revealed that 3 potential sites were selected in Trinidad for the construction of CARFTA's headquarters.
It is going to be located either in Coral Valley, either in Federation Park or Valley, which one is most acceptable. We have the UNOPS people. They have done a study on all the areas, and we have to sit down with the CARFTA board and determine exactly where it's going to be.
Users of CARFTA's services include policymakers, health workers, the public, partners, medical professionals, and people with specific diseases. For more information on CARFTA, one can visit the agency's page at www.cafta.org. Nikolai Edwards, News 4.
Sports is next after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back. West Indies one-day captain Dwayne Bravo is battling for fitness and will be doubtful for the Tri-Nation ODI series when the Trinidad leg of the tournament bowls off at the Queen's Park Oval on Friday. The charismatic all-rounder strained his groin in the opening match versus Sri Lanka at Sabina Park. The West Indies were already forced to make one change to their winning squad with Ravi Rampal out for the rest of the tournament with an ankle strain, which a scan confirmed is more serious than first suspected. He was replaced by Jason Holder, the 21-year-old from Barbados, who impressed during a stint with Chennai Super Kings in the limited opportunities he was given in India Premier League 2013. He will be making his second ODI outing after debuting in Australia earlier this year. The regional side will be heading into the second round of matches with a 100% record after wins versus Sri Lanka and world one-day champions India in Jamaica. They will be hoping to stick to their winning ways in front of a sold-out crowd at the iconic Queen's Park Oval. If Captain Bravo does not pass a late fitness test, the responsibility of leading the West Indies could once again fall to Kieron Pollard. The hard-hitting middle-order batsman equipped himself well when given the task in Game 2 with his use of the bowlers impressing West Indies assistant coach Toby Radsford. Friday's match versus India bowls off at 9:30 a.m. More news after this. Stay with us. Thank you for staying with us. A melting pot of races and cultures which form a united multicultural blend the world has grown to appreciate. This is what CARICOM means to us. This is just one of the views expressed as the leaders of CARICOM nations met to celebrate the 40th anniversary of the event, which gave birth to the regional grouping, the signing of the Treaty of Chaguaramas.
poetry.
We catch a tail to make a living, but yes, Lord, we living. And because we living, a lot of all you living. Yes, the sugar apple people like the wave and Grandlands Beach, they always moving. Year in and year out, no matter who come or who go. We know Trinidad and Trinidad know we. We hand stretch across the water, ripe fig, dashing yam, tanya, callaloo, you name it, we bring it. In bag, in box, in crate. Big box, a little box, say the man say $1 box, say the woman say a box is a box.
Dance. Song.
Let the young generation, let them throw it pride in their hearts. Let us stop allowing foreign lands to keep us apart. We no longer Africa, India, China, or England, but people of that Trinity, walking hand in hand.
Come my brother, let's walk together, take my hand, brother and sister, look around you, what do you see? Rainbow people of that Trinity.
These all came together to display the beautiful, intricate blend of races and history that have made the people in the Caribbean community who they are today, a proud people as diverse as their history and ancestors. This presentation takes place as CARICOM celebrates 40 years of existence. On July 4th, 1973, the leaders of 4 Caribbean nations, Barbados, Guyana, Jamaica, and Trinidad and Tobago, signed the Treaty of Chaguaramas, which established the Caribbean Community and Common Market known as CARICOM. The treaty, which came into effect less than 1 month later on August 1st, 1973, also addressed issues of regional cooperation, foreign policy coordination, and economic integration. 40 years to the day, leaders of the now 15-nation grouping, along with its 5 associate members, have met at the birthplace of CARICOM, Chaguaramas. All the leaders reenacted the signing of the document as a symbolic reaffirmation of their commitment to the goals and tenets of the treaty. However, Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, the Honorable Kamla Persad Bissessar, is urging her CARICOM counterparts to view the reenactment as more than simply a symbolic performance.
I ask of you, let this reenactment be not just a physical dramatization of our past, but also let it be a tangible rededication to the future. Let today be a day for positive reflection. Let it be the reincarnation of the spirit and intendment of the Charter of July 4th, 1973. Let today become a moment for new resolve. Let it be the moment for rejuvenated determination and consciousness. Watchwords so passionately inscribed in the preamble to the Caribbean's most famous document.
Gregory McBurney, News 4.
And that story brings us to the end of our News 4 report, a product of the Government Information Services Limited and the Ministry of Communications. I'm Joseph Lopez. Thank you for watching.